Good morning. Merry Christmas. Isn't it fun to say? You know, it's like this is the only time of the year you can say stuff like that. So say it to everybody. It's so much fun. And so this year, instead of doing Bing Crosby, I was playing Trans-Siberian.
Oh, yeah.
I love Trans-Siberian.
So do I. Fun stuff. We got a bunch of books donated. They're in the kitchen, and we were already going through the bag, so some are gone. But you know, The Secret.
That's a
Good book. Good book. My goodness. So, and yes, and if any of you have heard any of the ugly rumors, yes, Jan and I now have a new dog. So a puppy. So, well, I mean, you know, 46 years with a dog and then 6 weeks without.
No, it doesn't work.
Well, I was actually kind of enjoying being single again for a while, but you know, there is just something missing there. But anyway, t-shirts and sweatshirts that you too could own, but probably shouldn't. I got mood poisoning. Must have been something I hate.
I love that.
My cousin has the best cousin in the world.
All right.
I'm a great misspelled engineer. I'm good at math. So, all right. Oh, you know what? Let's just do our patron saints, George Carlin and John Lennon. And I just lost John. But I recognize which one I was going to do. As usual, there's a great woman behind every idiot. So, and George, have you ever noticed that the lawyer always smiles more than the client? I don't know. That's what George said. All right. Hi, Toby. Maybe I shouldn't bring the dog in. Okay, and things that make you go, the mind's direction is more important than its progress. Every extreme attitude is a fight for the self. Interesting. Our minds are lazier than our bodies. All right. And this is one of the books that Josie, huh?
I testify.
Oh, this is one of the books Josie gave me. Thank you very much. Each moment of the year has its own beauty, a picture which was never seen before and which will never be seen again. Isn't that nice? I love that. Anybody doing something fun for Christmas that's different, unusual? No? Going to casino? Which one?
Probably Wild Horse.
Okay. Cool. Boy, that place has sure grown over the years. My goodness. Yeah.
I'm actually going to spend time with my family and enjoy it this year.
Wow. All right. Things that, like, you learn something in church at least, so. And this is Christmas, so guess what? We're probably going to be talking about Jesus a little bit. Just as a guess. It is Christmas. I mean, Christmas and Easter, you know, we kind of fall back a little bit. Yeah, not really, but certainly not conservative. A black hole in the Perseus galaxy cluster about 250 million light years from Earth emits sound waves with a frequency of about 10 million years, making them the lowest notes in the universe. The sound, a B flat, 57 octaves lower than middle C, is generally considered to be a cheerful one, although, of course, it can't be heard by human ears. So, interesting. All right. Oh, I didn't really find any just regular jokes, so I'll just do a bunch of short ones. After Sunday services, a young boy suddenly announced to his mother, "Mom, I've decided to become a minister when I grow up." "Well, that's okay with us, but what made you decide that?" "Well," said the little boy, "I have to go to church on Sunday anyway. I figure it may as well be more fun to stand up and yell than it is to sit and listen." Could be true. A Sunday school teacher challenged children to take some time on Sunday afternoon to write a letter to God. They were to bring their letter back the following Sunday. One little boy wrote, "Dear God, we had a good time at church today. Wish you could have been here." Uh-huh. Do we want to do the raffle like here in a minute, or
No, we're gonna do that.
do it later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Communion, sign up is the only thing that need to go around.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else going on that I don't know about?
2:30.
Most things? Do what?
2:30 today we're doing caroling.
Oh,
Everybody wants to join.
where are you doing the caroling?
We're going to come here and practice a little bit, and then we'll travel to like nursing home, people that don't
Nice.
get out a lot.
Nice. Okay. So if anybody didn't hear that, caroling here today at 2 o'clock, 2:30, a little bit of practice and what the heck you're doing, and then going to go to nursing homes and wherever, and anybody that'll listen to you that won't throw things at you. So, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just going to pass the January for the communion sign up. This is just to help. We can't. This place doesn't run without lots of people to help out. I mean, we've been doing this for 22 years, and it needs lots of people to help out. And so thank you so much for everything everybody does. It's amazing.
Name and telephone number on the Sunday.
Name and telephone number? Yeah, talk to Valerie. It's not that hard to do. It really isn't, but it's well appreciated. Oh, I did that. Do I have one more? Is there anything on the calendar this week? I don't. Yeah, Christmas. Besides that. Of course, we have Qigong every Sunday morning. Thank you, Mary Ann. So if you don't know what Qigong is, talk to Mary Ann. It's quite a nice little service and a little ministry that Mary Ann has in the back that she does every Sunday morning. Christmas attire. Lots of you have your Christmas attire on. Thank you so much. That's so much fun. I know, I forgot, because I got distracted this morning. New puppy, yeah. It forgot my phone, forgot all the stuff that I would have normally brought today and remembered. But Art and Soul, next Saturday, 10 o'clock, that's going on. And it's going to be a little bit light the rest of the year, but that's okay. That time of year. And only in America do we leave cars worth thousands of dollars on the driveway and put the useless junk in the garage. Only in America do we have answering machines to screen calls and then have call waiting so we won't miss calls from someone we didn't really want to talk to in the first place. Only in America do we buy hot dogs in packages of 10 and buns in packages of 8. That's always been an odd one. And I've never heard an explanation. Never heard anybody actually explain why that is, because there's got to be a good reason.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, exactly. Things that make you go, Only in America do we use the words politics to describe the process so well. Poly in Latin meaning many, and ticks meaning blood-sucking creatures. So, only in America do we have drive-up ATM machines with Braille lettering. Have you seen that? That has always been weird, just odd. Okay. We're going to do a couple songs, and as you might imagine, they're actually one Phil picked out and one Jan picked out. And I'll let you decide who picked which.
Yes. Okay. We'll start with a prayer. Roy, if you would be so kind as to read a prayer for us. Unless you feel like winging it.
That's all right. I was reading over this a while ago, and as we enter 2020, it's a very appropriate prayer. Prayer for awakening. It says, all that is me, all that is, awaken me. Bring me into the light of love. Shake me out of my shielded awareness. Stir within me the desire to awaken fully. Remove fear so that I may see more. Remove doubt so that I may perceive more. Enhance my perceptions so that I may sense more. Restore the light of love within me so that I may know more. Shield me with the light of love so that I may be more. So may it be. And the gratitude, I'm so grateful for the clear perceptions coming to me now.
So I'm also going to have Cheryl read a message from the Ancient Ones. Some of you don't know who the Ancient Ones are. They're a channeled group of ascended beings that speak through me and probably others. But they have this powerful message that speaks right to the heart, speaks right to who you really are. So their message this morning.
There we go.
Your heart. Your heart, dear one. Your heart. Herein lies your power, your intuition, your guidance system, your hope, your joy, those things that make life valuable. Leave the overthinking behind and move out of a place of love and compassion. This fuels every aspect of your life. The universe responds to this vibration and brings to you more things to love and appreciate. As you become a source of light to those in your circle of influence, you tap into the source of light that illuminates your path. Walk in light, dear one. We walk with you.
Thank you. You can't see from there, but there's an avalanche that's just ready to happen. If you get a chance after services, you might want to come up and see this nativity set. They're made out of moose. So the little baby Christmas Jesus moose is just the sweetest thing ever. And we figure here at the Divine Fellowship, it's far better to be sacrilegious than sanctimonious, so it's okay for us. Whatever. So I have lots to share with you this morning because, do we need lights? Lights, please, Mr. Phil? They're liking it. We'll just leave it then. Whatever. I have lots to share. Because the event of Christ's birth, Jesus' birth, just the center one. There we go. There we go. There is so much misinformation out there that I become extremely impassioned about making sure you know the truth, because the truth will set you free. And so I want to be careful here. No, I don't. So part of me thinks I should be careful, and the part of me is going, nah, just go for it. Okay, let's just go for it. So whatever your perception of the Bible is, the good book, whether you take it literally or you take it figuratively or you feel it's an illustration, doesn't matter. There's spiritual truths there. And it doesn't matter to me how you perceive that or how you utilize that in your life. What matters to me is how that improves your life, makes you a better person, gives you joy, gives you grace, gives you power. That's what I care about. So all the little details, you can have your own personal opinion about that. I don't care. And some religions would have you think that you have to think it exactly the same way that they tell you from the front of the room. I don't think so. I don't think there's a single person in this room that believes the same way I do. Yay, glory, hallelujah, boy howdy. You know, this is about your faith, not mine. You can't walk my path. I can't walk your path. But I'm hoping that some of the things that I have to say, some of the things I can share with you will help you in your path. So with that said, I want to take you back to the Garden of Eden. What? It's Jesus' birth. What do we take? It all starts at the Garden of Eden, right? Okay, so whether you take that as literal 7 days or with 7 eons of time, I don't care. The principles of what happens in that time frame is really important. So who cares what the time looks like? I don't care. What I want to draw your attention to is Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden were innocent. Then there was that tree. Now, I used to think that God put that tree to tempt them. No! I was wrong. Can you believe that? I was wrong. I was wrong about that. And here's what the truth is. Oh, no, I lost my sticky. It's here somewhere. Here it is. Nope, that's not the one. Oh, it is here. James chapter 1, verse 13 and 14. So let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted of God. Doesn't happen. Really? For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. What? Well, what the heck was the deal with the tree? So, but verse 14, but each one is tempted when carried away enticed by his own lust. So let's look at what's that? What does that mean? I don't know. Well, let's find out. 1 John chapter 2, verses 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. Those three, that gets us off track every time. And most of us here have categorized that as ego. Whether you use that term or you don't, whether you use lust or you use ego, doesn't matter. Same thing. We're not in the path of innocence when we're hooked up with those things. Gotta have it, gotta do it, gotta be it. That's what makes us crazy. That's what makes us it takes us away from the sacred path that we're on. So, also in 1 John, I love this. 1 John, read it. It's a good book. Chapter 1, verse 5. And this is the message we have heard from him with a capital H, meaning the Jesus baby that was here, that came to give us this message. This message. Listen, are you listening? Here's the message. And we announce to you that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. Chapter 2, verse 28. And this is all on either side of the lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and the boastful pride of life. On either side of that. Verse 28. And now, little children, abide in him so that when he appears we may have confidence and not shrink away from him in shame at his coming. Because guess what? Garden of Eden, screwed up, shame, and blame happened. What's the first thing out of Adam's mouth? Well, she made me do it. What's the first thing out of Eve's mouth? Well, he made me do it. The snake did. And they felt shame and they blamed. So there they were. Innocence was there and then there wasn't anymore. Beloved, chapter 3, we are now children of God. You're children of God. You're not children of anything dark. More. Here's more. Verse 4, chapter 8. Chapter 8, verse 4. Chapter 4, verse 8. Sorry, I get a little wound up here, don't I? The one who does not love does not know God, for God is love. There's no darkness. He's all love, all light, all the time. That's it. That's the story. And then in chapter 5, he talks about us being the children of light. More of that. You might want to read that someday. It's really cool. So what the heck was the deal with the tree? If God didn't plant that tree to tempt humanity, what the heck? Think about it. What if that was by saying, don't do that? What if that tree was then the moment of awareness when humans made a choice, their first choice? When you're a kid and you're little, you do this and you do that. You don't do it out of choice. You do it because you're just doing that, because you're a kid. But when we awaken and we have the right to choose good or evil, right or wrong, good or bad, whatever, and we choose that which is not good, we've made a conscious choice. And that's what it's all about, is choice. So, and then of course Adam and Eve had to whine, and they got kicked out of the garden, and they had to work hard, and it was not fun. And okay, let me ask you this question. Have you ever worked really hard on a project, and then when it was done, you didn't quite know how to feel because it felt so awesome? Right? Why would God deprive us of that? If we had awareness and conscious choice, why would He deprive us of the right and the privilege of success? If we stayed in the garden and had just fruit to pick all day, we wouldn't have that. So Adam and Eve thought it was not fair, but it wasn't. It was totally fair. It was totally perfect and wonderful and exactly what we needed to do. Pain in childbirth. Oh, there's this little one. And we don't think about the pain. What we think about is how precious that little one is, right? So it's the perception, the shame, the blame, and the whining, that was just immaturity. That's okay. But look at our lives right now. How many times are we whining, complaining, shaming and blaming, and it's not fair? Immaturity. That's spiritual immaturity. We're being called to this higher level of awareness, and when Jesus the Christ was born, He brought innocence back. Because He didn't screw up. Everything that He did, He did from conscious awareness. He made choice, and every choice was for the greater good. And we can attain to that, or we can strive to that, because He did it. He opened the gateway for that again. So since Adam and Eve, to the point where Christ was born, there was no innocence. And now there is. And with this innocence now, we can choose. We have this expanded awareness, this extensive awareness, where we are capable of choosing. And when we choose that which isn't good, we have a gateway back. Because we don't have to be perfect. We strive to that. We want to do that. But the only way we're going to learn is when we screw up. How many people have learned by doing it right? If you learned it by doing it right, you probably didn't keep it until you did it wrong. Oh, I remember. Remember that? Okay. The other thing in James, perfect love casts out fear. When you have shame and blame, you have regret, and you have fear. And we don't have that. We don't have to have any of that. We're free of that. So, now how do I know this? Is because if we look in chapter 4 of Matthew, we look at the temptation of Jesus. Remember that one? He fasted 40 days, and then the devil came to him and tempted him. That's where the temptation comes from. And he used lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life. Used all three of those at him. So first one was, okay, lust of the flesh. He was hungry. He'd fasted for 40 days. And he said, here, turn those stones to bread. You can do it. Okay, some of that's the boastful pride of life and, that ego stuff in there. But he was hungry. Let's see. If I was starving and I was a son of God, I think I would choose something besides bread. But no, he didn't do any of that. He was able to just say no. And because he had the power to just say no, we have the power to just say no. We don't have to be enticed away from our sacred journey. We can stay on our sacred journey. The second one was Satan took him up and said, throw yourself down from the pinnacle here and prove that you're the Son of God. Boastful pride of life, right? Prove it. Prove you're God. Prove you're the Son of God. Nope, I'm not going to prove it that way. I'm going to prove it by loving everybody to death. That's what I'm going to do. I'll tell his death. And then he took him up onto the mountain and said, and now look at all of this, and all of these kingdoms are under my power. If you worship me, then you could have all of this. That's the lust of the eyes. And you know, for each one of those things, Jesus had words, sacred words to stop him. So when you have a difficulty, a challenge, whether you're facing something to do the right thing or not the right thing, find sacred words that give you power. And you hold those sacred words in your heart. And then your memory calls them up. And you're empowered. And nothing can stop you except your own choice. It's choice. When we feel like we don't have choice, we're just lying to ourselves. But with this choice, there's this power of innocence. It's power of innocence. And with that sense of innocence, we have this connection between us and this living God of light and love that delights in us, wants us to be happy, wants us to be joyful, wants us to be empowered. Fastest way to empower yourself is applying spiritual words into your heart and into your mind and walking your sacred path. And you're walking that path of innocence. There's no blame and no shame. And if you screw up or mess up, no big deal. You just say, oh man, screwed up. And you're forgiven. It's cleared away. And you're walking your sacred path again. You don't get off your sacred path. You're still there. It's just waking back up again, like falling asleep. I was dozing there for a minute. This awakened consciousness is here for us, and we have the right to do that. Shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Speak your truth. When we're in our truth, we have dark forces don't have any foothold with us when we're in our truth. And if our truth is in alignment with spiritual truth, stand back. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. Because with the power of innocence, we have the power of this awakened consciousness, the power of choice. And that grants us this huge, tremendous freedom to move through our lives and walk this path of ascension. Walk your sacred path. If you feel like you're off your sacred path, you're just time to wake up again. You're just snoozing. Wake up. Make a new choice in each and every moment. I'm going to leave it there. Or am I? So the innocence that was born, last thought, the innocence that was born thousands of years ago manifested itself in a living form, in a living being. And that living being walked a sacred path and chose every time for the highest and best good of all of us. Not for himself, but for all of us. He was killed, he rose from the dead, and he ascended. It is that ascension that grants us our sacred path, our ascended path. Walk in truth. Know your truth. Know your truth. If somebody tries to tell you something that doesn't fit for you, you can go, that doesn't fit for me. You don't have to be angry and argumentative. Just go, that doesn't fit for me. And allow it to be what it is. But walk your truth. And walk that truth of freedom and that path of ascension. So with that said, let's do a guided meditation. Now we can turn the lights back on.